Hello everyone on YouTube, TheMainManSWE here. Hoping you're all doing awesome as always, all of my little angels on YouTube. Dad is very proud of you all. Hoping you're all staying safe, you know, with all of the trouble going on. I will be doing a new character difficulty tier list. I've never been requested more to do another tier list than a character difficulty tier list. So as I updated my Season 4, you know, my proper tier list for Tekken with the new Season 4, why not do another difficulty tier list? Things have changed and we have new characters, so could be interesting. And obviously this is a sensitive topic to a lot of people, and I'm not gonna do what I did last time, which was, you know, troll like crazy and dumpster characters. I'm gonna keep it 100% legit, and I'm not super unfair. It's like at the expert, those speak for themselves. You have easy characters in Tekken 7, like really easy, and then you have intermediate, which is kind of average in difficulty, and then you have advanced characters where it's suddenly much more challenging, and then you have like expert level where if you know, really want to play those characters, it's just an insane amount of hours, and it's most often not only like you know, a lot of execution, it's like pretty complicated mind games as well. But I want to stress that you will now see me at the top there. I shall place Mishima's, and Heihachi is the most difficult Mishima. Where is Heihachi? I'm really desperately trying to locate him. It shouldn't be that hard with that hair. And then I would place Brian as the most difficult character, and then I would place Steve. Where is Steve? God, they're so hard. I must be going blind. Where is Steve? Left, bottom left. There he is. It's like with that hoodie, I'm always looking for that blonde hair. I do the same thing in the character select screen of Tekken 7. I mean, where's the blonde hair? And it's like, no, he has a hoodie now. Okay. Old school Tekken player. I would do something like this, and then Akuma. That would be my expert. And this is where a lot of people, you know, will go like, oh God, come on. Kazuya, just spam hell sweep. Steve, just pressure like crazy. I'm not being terribly biased here. Even if you emotionally can have a gut reaction where it's like, oh, you know, he's just pulling this out of his ass. On my first character difficulty tier list, I think the top row looked the same. And then a couple of months after, JDCR made a difficulty video. Do you know what characters he mentioned as the most difficult characters? It kind of was exactly what I said. Brian, Mishima's, Steve. So and JDCR you can trust, right? So I'm not being, you know, unfair here or biased towards characters I like. It's just that I've always been drawn to characters that are like high in difficulty. And Brian, in my opinion, is definitely the hardest character in Tekken, and that has pretty much always been the case, and it's down to his design. If you're interested in the subject of Brian, I have a video where I talk in high detail about what makes him so fascinating. It's called, you can search on YouTube, I think it's called Why Brian is One of the Greatest Fighting Game Designs Ever. You know what? I'm gonna post this to YouTube, so I can probably link that video in the description. Heihachi is the hardest Mishima to play. The execution requirements for Heihachi are astronomical. He has no easy launcher, it's electric all day long. His electric is hard to do. He doesn't have the easy, perfect electrics like Kazuya. Crouch cancel electrics are a thing. The difficulty of not having lows, it's like Heihachi is obscene in difficulty. Kazuya, execution is just off the charts. And a difficult game plan as well when you don't have pokes. It's all about timing. and character knowledge has to be there in pretty much every matchup. Because, and this is also interesting to note that, you know, a lot of people feel like, oh, just spam a 50-50. But what a lot of people miss is that 50-50 takes 20 frames to get going. So if you ever have trouble with Kazuya, like in intermediate level of play, try to just jab check him over and over. Or if you have a Magic 4 or any quick counter hit launcher, don't wait for the Kazuya to get momentum on you. Just interrupt him constantly. Don't respect Kazuya players. Just poke away. He doesn't have pokes. He will have to know when to duck, etc. I don't want to speak for too long. Devil Jin, again, very difficult. It's slightly easier than the others due to having a pseudo hop kick with the up 4. Steve, in my opinion, the most complicated character in the game to play. He can do anything, and he relies on timing, has almost no comeback prowess whatsoever due to lacking you know, classic 50-50. The stomp doesn't really count. But yeah, it's just as hardcore fundamentals as it gets. Timing and the execution requirements are off the charts, not only because of a Shiro combo, which is the down for 2 counter hit combo, and Akuma execution wise is, you know, off the charts. I feel like those 6 characters really set themselves apart, but we'll see. I haven't pre-made a list. I'm just going off gut feeling here. After those characters, I would put Lee, Jin. You know what? I'm just gonna get going here, and then I'm gonna explain. You're here. Easy. Easy. Where's Leroy? I'm just gonna go ahead and play some characters, and then we're gonna talk a little bit. There's gonna be quite a few characters in easy, I think. Is Kazumi easy or intermediate? Let's see. Law is intermediate. Bob is easy. Fengwei is intermediate. Eddie is also difficult because he can be the easiest in the game or difficult, but I'm gonna put him at intermediate. We're gonna want to be as fair as possible. That's definitely easy, easy, easy. I would say Alisa is easy. Jack. It's a tough one. I would say Jack is more easy than he's intermediate. Easy, easy, easy. Julia. Intermediate. Okay, so just off the top of my head, this is very quickly how I would place the characters. So at expert there, you have what I believe to be the most difficult characters in the game, and that is followed by characters that are advanced, Lee is often quoted as being one of the absolute hardest characters in the game, but I do not find that he is as difficult as the characters above him. But he is pretty much there, almost. But I would say he's a little step, not quite as difficult as the characters above. And then Jin also very, very difficult to play for many reasons. It's very complicated to play Jin. There's just so much you have to be aware of in terms of moves and strategy, and there's a lot of execution. Armor King, the same. Execution-wise, there's a lot, but the hardest part of Armor King is just being a god, and a god in the neutral. You never really have an easy option select with Armor King, or easy strategy, because you can never take anything for granted. He's so bad at building frames, and he's quite sluggish. Hwoarang, you know, I probably don't have to explain that he's a very complicated character to play. It just says itself. Same thing with Yoshimitsu, very complicated. There's just a billion tricks and shenanigans you have to know of. Eliza, just like Akuma, there's just an enormous amount of execution, but not quite to the extent of Akuma, in my opinion. And then intermediate, Geese is a character you could put in advanced, but the more I think about it, I don't feel he has that much execution. It's like Raging Storm, standing 2 into Jayaken or jab into Jayaken is very difficult, but you don't really need that stuff. He can be highly effective without that stuff. He's almost in advanced, but I would say he's the hardest of the intermediate characters in terms of difficulty, in my opinion. Marduk is also a character where people often think he's dumber than he is. There is some difficulty to playing Marduk. It's very easy to get overwhelmed by pressure. There's a lot of tools you have to use. There's no Marduk that uses 5 attacks. There's strategy there. Xiaoyu, there is strategy there. You know, there's a lot to take in playing that character. And there is some execution. Dragunov, while running 2, Nina. The thing with Nina is that she can be easily here. Same with Eddie. It's like Eddie and Nina winning machines in beginner and intermediate. The Williams sisters, in my opinion, are the easiest characters in the game to play until you start hitting like high-level play. Then Nina, for example, immediately becomes much harder to play, and there's definitely execution involved. So I would put her at intermediate. Although you'll hear a lot of Nina players say, oh, she's advanced or even expert because you have to be able to do the butterfly combo. You don't need the butterfly combo. You just don't need it. So yeah, I don't buy that argument. And then you have Kirimitsu, which is a mix-up based character. Again, there's a lot to take in. There's a lot you have to utilize. It's not your 5-move character. Same with Zafina. Law can be the easiest character in the game, but at the same time, you're going to need the DSS sooner or later, and that's difficult to do. Feng Wei, you know, 1,000 good attacks, no great attacks. Relies on you making the most out of many, many moves. It's complicated. King, you know, you need the throws, you need the chain throws, you need tons of setups. You know, just watch Lil Majin play. It's like, if you want to do well with this character, again, there's a lot to it. It's easy to say that, like, okay, people have bad throw breaks in beginner and intermediate, so we just spam throws. But at the same time, in those ranks, it's not that easy to get the throws going because a lot of people are spamming right back in your face. So I think King gets more shit than he deserves. But on a bad connection, yeah, he is your worst nightmare. It's not Bruce. And then Eddie, just like Nina, can be the easiest character to play. Because people don't know the matchup, but yeah, name me... It's gonna be hard to name a harder character to play in, you know, competitive play. So he has to fall somewhere in the middle. Lei, again, to make the most out of him, there's a lot you have to do. But a character that is very often exaggerated by his player base, that he's just, you know, you need to be Einstein to do well, and that is definitely not the case. You can play him with Razor Rush, Hell Sweep, Pop Kick, Down Forward 2, you know, and again, it's like people who know that matchup well fit into one single cardboard box. And Julia, there's definitely execution, and there's definitely, you know, a lot to take in terms of shenanigans. Yeah, you have to do your homework with the character. And then we have the easy characters, and for most of them, I feel like it goes without saying. If we want to like separate the absolute easiest characters, we would put Asuka, Katarina, Leroy, Fakum Ram towards the bottom. Like, those are definitely the easiest. Lars is also very easy. But again, it gets super hard when you get higher up in ranks. Claudio is unbelievably easy. You'll note that the characters that are in the bottom here, there is objective data on this. It's like, you know, win-loss ratio. Where is Ganryu? There he is. It's like, these characters just obliterate. Anna also, like, a monster online. Monster. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is a pretty fair list, to be honest. I hope no one is too upset by this or feel like I'm being, you know, very judgmental of certain characters. This is just me trying to be as objective as possible. And from my point of view, very subjective, obviously. Yeah, I don't want to talk for too long about all of the characters. I feel like it speaks for itself. It's like I don't have to explain too much why I put Paul in easy, I hope, or Noctis, or Gigas. You know, Gigas, not a very strong character on paper, like solid middle tier now, but yeah, he has a great ease of use. You know, 1-2 is never bad as a punish. You can just do that over and over. You have a pretty easy 50-50 and down back 2. You can down 2. You have some decent mids. There's nothing hard about his game plan. There's no execution, and it's a simple game plan. I mean, Master Raven, maybe we could put here. Now that I think about it, I don't think she should be an easy. That was a mistake. Are there any other mistakes? No, there are no other mistakes, in my opinion. Are there any mistakes in intermediate? I mean, it's like maybe he should be thrown up to advanced. I think maybe he should be. But that's like if you really want to do, you know, really high level geese. I would say he's advanced. But I don't know if you really have to take it that far. But yeah, honestly, I feel this is pretty fair. I feel this is pretty fair. And again, if someone would come up to me and make the argument that Lee belongs up here, or Jin, like, I would listen to you. I would not say you're crazy. It's like, oh, you know what? Absolutely, I can see where you're coming from. But in my humble opinion, I think these are like extremes. they are extreme. Whereas here, you don't really have to go that crazy to, you know, do well. And I'm so tired. I don't feel like talking that much more about this. Lei might be unadvanced as well. I just don't think so. Like the execution is not there, and it's not as hard as people make it out to be to win with the character. To be honest, it's not as difficult as it's hyped up to be. Jack requires time and execution to use, but what's execution? And again, like, in terms of defending with Jack, that's very difficult to do. And for that reason, you could throw him out. He's very honest, but at the same time, you can form a super simple game plan around forward 1, standing 2, low poke, throw, launching throw, down for 2. It's like, it doesn't have to be hard at all. But yeah, if you want to play him in like competitive play, he's definitely towards intermediate. But I don't see any reason right now to make a solid decision to put him here. I feel like all of these characters are designed to be easy. Yeah, and of course everyone wants to argue that their main is hard. But that's why I don't want people to take these lists like, I play Claudio and I've reached, you know, Vanquisher or Emperor, and this means, you know, my wins don't mean anything. And absolutely not. It's like, if you've made it far with Claudio, no matter what, when you play high level, every character is difficult to play. Every character. But Claudio is designed to be easy, and spamming hop kicks in beginner and intermediate, just, yeah, you're gonna blow most people up. And the data backs that up. He's annihilating online. All of these are, you know, destroying online. And Zafina, destroying online. But yeah. And yeah, Alyssa, definitely designed to be easy. You know, easy chainsaw pressure, blows most people up. No execution, pretty simple mind games. Again, in high level play, you gotta respect Alyssa players. They usually have god tier movement and sense of spacing to maximize the use of her great pokes. So this is not shitting on people who play high level. It's like, it's like, come on, like I place Gigas here, easy, but in high level, that's super hard. Or Eddie, intermediate. If you want to play this guy in an Evo top 8, it's like you're beyond expert. It's like, everything is against you. So you gotta remember that. I'm talking about like in general. If you combine competitive play and the majority of players, you know, playing online, what would it look like? And to me, in my opinion, it would look something like this. Isn't law more advanced than intermediate, like with DSS and stuff? Yeah, DSS is super hard. It's one of the hardest things if you wanna, you know, become a god at it. But at the same time, it's like he's here in many ways because of hop kick while standing 2, jabs, launching throw, dragon's tail. He just has so much bullshit for beginner and intermediates. But if he didn't have that, I would place him higher. But he has to fall in the middle because he has both worlds. He has the easy mode bullshit, and then he has like top tier execution difficulty. But you don't need it. You don't need DSS to smoke everyone in beginner and intermediate. DSS is a thing as you advance in ranks. Why do you think Brian is harder than Heihachi? I've literally dedicated a video to the subject. It's because of arguably the most difficult execution in the game and a very complicated game plan. And for beginner and intermediates, it's like, you know, you hit green ranks and suddenly people are blocking your snake edge and they go, oh, what do I do now? And suddenly it's, you know, it's not easy. You're going to have to start thinking real hard about what you're doing and how you're trying to mix up the opponent. Incredibly unorthodox. His down forward 1 is 15 frames and it's a Gatling string. He doesn't have a down forward 2. He doesn't have a hop kick. He doesn't have a down forward 1 check. It's like, and to really open people up in high level play, you have to make them fear the taunt. They have made him dumber though, by giving him punishment and buffing the hatchet. They've dumbed him down a bit, but he still remains, in my opinion, the hardest character in the game. Because guess what? They're dumbing everyone down. They've dumbed Heihachi down. Oh, while standing launcher. Let's dumb down Kazuya, electric tracks, both sides, Fuji Naraken. We're dumbing him down, but he still remains expert level. Dumb down. Opposite of dumb down? Made him harder. Dumb down a little bit, maybe. Yeah. We gave him the easy mode EX Tatsu combo. And Lee got dumbed down while standing 2-3, forward 3 easier. They made a couple of pickups easier, didn't they? But yeah, very hard. I wonder if Yoshi belongs here, but or he should be here. I'll put him here just because he's the character that does the absolute worst online. But I'm closing in on half an hour, so I'm gonna stop here. Thoughts on Dragunov's placement? I put him at intermediate almost solely because of while running 2 difficulty. Otherwise, I mean, beginner and intermediate, just do his moves. Yeah, very strong command throws. If this was tag 2, this guy would be here. Almost here. It was so difficult. But unfortunately, one of the most dumbed down characters in Tekken is Dragunov. He went from super interesting to, unfortunately, he's now in intermediate, very difficult. There's nothing bad in being an intermediate, but as they're making everyone easier, it would have been nice to still have one of the most interesting characters. I like execution. I think it's interesting, and he used to be very interesting in that regard, but they took that away from us. You know, I don't want to see a Tekken 8 where you do a wave dash by tapping down forward. It's like, that's what they did to him. That's what they did to him. Oh, this is a character difficulty tier list. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I don't feel I'm being unfair to anyone. Yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone.